Shalom, Kal Halal, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash. Double honor to the elder apostles and elder bishops of GMS, including the elders that came before them, that taught us his truth. The brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity, the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, the Aquath listening and learning, being a pillar of rest, the 144,000 elect, and the 1/3. Shalom and salutations to you all. All right, so this is just another quick recap of yesterday because, hey, the psyops are in full effect. Okay, if it's not one damn thing, it's another. It's you got Donald Trump, which is a huge psyop. The him being indicted and him potentially going into prison and the whole thing while he's running for the president. And what is he doing? He's telling the people to get ready to go out and commit civil unrest, basically, to not comply. What is that? Okay, there's okay, Maui is still running strong. You got Burning Man, all right, and these are psyops, okay, and again, psyop season is turning into a little theme because if you don't understand these things, you're gonna fall right into the psyop. You're gonna fall right into winding up in a chipping station line because you didn't, heed the warnings of the men of the Lord. This is a warning. Hey, watch out for the psyop. Understand what a psyop is: psychological operation being run on your weak and feeble mind. Okay, so we'll start at 2 Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which we made. So what are we looking for? We're looking for the signs that determine what? That the Most High has began to visit the world which he made. So when you see these floods and biblical locusts and different things like that's the Most High visiting the world that he made. Okay? Now here's the point. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, that's an easy one. All right? Dutch sense. Right? Dutch sense has he has the monopoly on earthquakes. That's why they're trying to discredit whatever he does or says. And what? Uproars of the people in the world. Well, I mean, all you got to do is point to France. They took France out of the headlines because France is over there standing up doing what the French do, revolting, right? When you think of the French, you think of revolution. What is a revolution? It's a revolt, right? Uproars of people in the world, all right? Now, you go to Ligma Johnson, 2024 here. Luke Radowski, who used to be with Alex Jones. All these guys used to be with Alex Jones. This dude, Joe Biggs, right? Who just got arrested for 17 years in prison for being down at the Jan 6 ordeal. He's tied to Alex Jones, right? So anyway, we are changed 22 hours ago. This what? Psyop failed. What psyop failed? Okay. Brace yourself for the big one. I believe he's going into the psyop of the next scandemic. All right. And the big one being what? The big one used to be a reference referring to World War II. They called it the big one. So this is, most likely talking about World War III, right? Of course, World War III is going to be a lot bigger than World War II or one as far as the big one goes, but this should be the last one. Anyway, I'm going to start in at, like right here, they're going to talk about Trump a little bit. Then they're going to go right into Tucker Carlson, whom we spoke on yesterday, who is being used for another psyop. What psyop is to take down free speech, shut the internet down. This guy wants to jump up and interview Vladimir Putin. How, isn't that going against Babylon? Well, that's what they're going to say. Anyway, keep your mind open to this word, psyop. Is this a psyop? Everything that goes on, is this a psyop? There's mud on the playa in Nevada at Black Rock City. Is that a psyop? Because, I mean, they could take a natural disaster and flip it, right, into a psyop. All right, let's lock down. You can't leave the city, and, you know, we're not going to drop no food, and we're going to run a big experiment and see how these people survive. Or whatever. You know, and whatever they're saying about it, right, in the mainstream media could be totally different than what's actually going on the ground. So let's watch this, and going into, again, what are we looking for? We're looking for this. Uproars of the people in the world. Okay, let's see if this has anything to... Watch what he says about Trump.
Compliance and mandates? Holy freaking cow, you know you have absolutely jumped the shark here, as of course that propaganda isn't even working on the mainline corporate boob tubes, as of course the former president of the United States and the lead Republican frontrunner for the presidency in 2024 just blasted the new, quote, mask mandates that he said he will not comply with.
Okay, so what do we have? Let's analyze this. You got this guy who's under indictment, just got arrested and a mug shot out. That's not much of a mug shot. But he's still running for president. He's still speaking. He's still on the loose. Oh, Wile E. Coyote right there. What is he doing? He's coming up against Fauci and the pandemic, the new one coming up. That if you watch yesterday's video, you'll see that they're, you know, well into pushing this. They're set up. They're moving forward. But you got this, okay? And Luke here is gonna parrot. He's gonna reiterate what I said yesterday about Tucker Carlson. So he's going against the masks here. He's saying, he's telling the people to do what, right? To start an uproar. We will not comply. What is that going to do? Here it is. When they shoot a nigga dead in the street in the back with handcuffs on 15 times in the back and say what? Well, you should have complied. But here we got this dude, right, telling you we're not going to comply. And then you say to yourself, what does the name Babylon actually mean? It means land of confusion. Because this is, well, we're not going to comply. He's basically, this former president, who may become president again, is telling the people to protest. We will not, to tell them to participate in civil disobedience at the least. Okay? And what will that cause? Uproars of the people. It's coming. Can you see it? When there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people. Well, here it is. The bad guy. You need me, right? He's the bad guy. Everybody gonna fall. Niggas for Trump. Are they gonna comply? No, they're not gonna comply. So is this not stoking the fires of uproars of the people? It absolutely is. Okay, so
highlighting a very stark different policy that he instituted when, of course, he allowed Dr. Fauci to do whatever he wanted to do to the American people. Highlighting a major shift in policy that, of course, represents more populist ideas rather than, of course, Big Pharma, which could be why Tucker Carlson is now talking about the larger possibility of an assassination of the former president of the United States.
Now that is a psyop. Okay. JFK was a psyop. What did they do? Well, they assassinated the president. It was a psyop. So you should understand what that word means. The term or the phrase conspiracy theorist comes from JFK, the JFK assassination and the Warren Commission. Okay, that phrase, "Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist," comes directly from the lone shooter theory. Okay, oh, that's a conspiracy. Uh, The conspiracy being there was more than one shooter. No, there was just one shooter and a magic bullet. And now we have something called conspiracy theory or theorists. Okay? Look right here. Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. You see all the language being used? The comments presented without evidence have been picked up by other media personalities on the far right, including conspiracy theorist Alex Jones and former Fox News host Dan Bongino. Okay, so far right conspiracy theorists. If you say Alex Jones, you're immediately discredited. That's called a psyop. Saying Alex Jones, right? Alex Jones is what? Conspiracy theorist. That means you believe in the truth, right? And that there was more than one shooter on the grassy knoll. See how this adds up? What are they going to use this for? What do you mean assassination? They can fake an assassination of Donald Trump as part of the narrative where they're going with. What does the word psyop mean? Okay? They can make you believe anything. There's hardcore MK Ultra going on out here. The U.S. is speeding toward assassination of Trump. Wow. Well, aren't they well into it? Speeding toward, you mean the physical assassination, not the character assassination. They've been assassinating this fool, and he's like Teflon Don. You could grab him by the pussy and get nominated as the president. You could have a record, right? You could shoot somebody in Times Square and they're still going to nominate you anyway. Okay, so what the hell is going on in Babylon the Great? Anyway, so what is Tucker talking about? Tucker, what they're saying is Fauci is out. They're not going to lock the place down again because everybody knows. And we'll see about that. They're going to do both. They're going to do everything. They're going to throw everything at the wall. You know why? Because this devil knoweth that he hath but a short time. Right? He's bungling it. You scumbag, you've rushed it. Right? Here we go.
News is calling this a baseless conspiracy, but with the way that the establishment, that many powerful people and powerful institutions have been going out of their way to try to prosecute and stop him from becoming the next president of the United States, which, by the way, has only emboldened him, made him more popular, got him more support, increased his poll numbers more than ever before. If the outrageous things that they're doing now to try to stop him don't work, why wouldn't they do more outrageous things from here? So I would say that his theory there isn't as baseless as many other people think, but it still is a theory. As it's also important to note here that Tucker Carlson also came out a few days ago and talked about how this larger return of lockdowns and mask mandates is something that actually will not be happening, as he is personally predicting that there's going to be other things, particularly related to American foreign policy, that will be used as the, quote, next thing.
Next psyop. Okay. Here it is. Tucker Carlson, who is a psyop, right, is saying that, oh, well, this psyop isn't going to happen, but this one is. Tucker is a psyop. Okay? And everybody, all eyes are on Tucker right now. He's abroad in Hungary saying that, what's going on in the U.S. and the things that he's saying can be, looked upon as traitors. So who made him the spokesman, of the U.S.? And where is he leading? Where is this going? Where is all of this going? Tucker is an insider. Trump is an insider. They're both following orders. All right? And the point here is don't be sucked in by the psyop. We'll play a little more of this. We'll get
alleged next psyop, the alleged next convenient tragedy that the government will use to try to benefit themselves and, of course, only grant themselves more and more emergency powers over the American public. Now, is Tucker right with his theories here? Well, according to some Russian political commentators, that he is, quote, absolutely right about these theories and why he is a, quote, dead man walking.
Not if they sent him out. If he's doing his job, doing what they told him to do from the top, then they're not going to assassinate him. Why is Trump not going to get assassinated? Because he's playing his role perfectly. The moment you go off and start doing things against him, then they'll put you down. That's what happened to JFK. All right? But if Trump is playing his role perfectly, there's no need to put him down. He's being a good boy. Same thing with Tucker. Because if you're out saying shit they don't want you to say, they will lay your ass down, even with the ground, quick. All right? So suddenly, Tucker is the dead man walking. Tucker said they're about to assassinate Trump. And believe you me, they'll lay your ass even with the damn ground, shoot your plane out of the sky, ask, oh, Yevgeny, right? Prigozhin. If they will lay your ass down, they'll shoot your plane down. They know when you're leaving.
Vladimir Solovov is talking about if he was Tucker Carlson, quote, he would not tell anyone their, quote, travel routes. You
hear that? Travel routes. That's what happened to Prigozhin. They knew what plane the nigga was on. All right.
On their, quote, travel routes. All of this is happening as, of course, we also learned that Tucker Carlson is wanting to interview the current president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, and has, quote, strongly requested a meeting with the Russian leader, which, of course, he would host as an interview, probably on Twitter, where he would publish the interview for everyone to see.
So, we have here, right? You got patriots out there, right? Some people are such patriots that if you say anything pro-Russian, then you're a traitor. And these people are still rooting for the Ukraine to win some war that isn't really even a war. Oh, Ukraine really put the kibosh on them today. I'm like, you know who's on what side, because one side is clearly winning, the other side is making up stories to stay in the fight. It's just a ridiculous notion. But at the top of that, what do we have? We have division among the people, right? We know all about division. Can a kingdom stand if it's divided? No. Who's bringing the division? Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Yahushai said he came not to bring peace on earth, nay, rather division. Right? And I'm paraphrasing. But that's what all of this is about. It's about the dividing. Right? And Esau's got his marching orders, divide and conquer. Right? So all these things have to be taken into consideration. And what is the point here? Don't be foiled by a psyop. They're all psyops. He said, "Oh, well, this psyop failed. They're still good. They're still milking that psyop. They got great gains out of CV-19, and there's still people that will line up and snitch on you for not taking a shot. So this thing is still going. What are you to do? Don't fall for the. Recognize and identify all psyops and act accordingly. All right? Because it's psyop season. And you're going to fall into one of these things. If your town is suddenly surrounded, you go to a rock concert and suddenly they're telling you, "Oh, just stay here. We're not letting anybody in. We're not letting anybody. You better get the fuck up out of there, because it's a psyop, right? If your town is on fire and they say, "Oh, well, just stay where you're at and don't worry, we'll get you." You better get the hell out of there. All right. You got to be able to identify a psyop, know what these people. Look at Maui. Truth is still coming out about Maui and how they were boxed in and how they tried to. They said the same thing happened in Maui that happened in Florida with the contamination of the gas. All right. So you got to watch out. Hey, they killing niggas out here. They clockwork oranging niggas. Where does that come from? They clockwork oranging niggas out here, right? That's what Jamie Foxx said that in Cloning Tyrone. When they were in the lab, he goes, "They clockwork oranging niggas." What does that mean? You got to know what a clockwork orange is about. It's about mind control. All right. Anyway, if you're under mind control, you're in a psyop. MK Ultra is a psyop. All right. It's psyop season. Some dildo comes on my page talking about, what are you talking about? Motherfucker, I'm talking about psyops, bitch. If you don't know, go study to show yourself approved and get off of my page. All right? Don't get caught up in the psyop. And you know who's not going to get caught up in the psyop? The elect. You can't fool them.
This is happening as Tucker Carlson is predicting a Gulf of Tonkin-like moment that will...
What is a Gulf of Tonkin-like moment? Okay? You got to understand psyops of old. Pearl Harbor was a psyop, right? What was Pearl Harbor? The Americans were at war in World War II with the Japanese. 2 weeks before so-called Pearl Harbor happened, America cracked the Japanese Morse code, if you will. We'll use Morse. Their code, right? When you have coded messages and you're sending them across the wire or whatever, you code it in a way so that the enemy won't be able to decipher the code. Well, America cracked Japan's code and understood the messages they were sending back and forth to each other. They had planned to attack Pearl Harbor. U.S. knew about it. So what they did is they went and got all of those old, outdated warships and battleships and put them all in a big circle as a big target. And when Japan came in, the Americans let them come in. They didn't launch interceptors or anything. They let them come in and tear a whole bunch of shit up. And what was the result of that? They were able to enter into World War II. When you're dealing with Vietnam, it was the Gulf of Tonkin event, much like Pearl Harbor. It was about sinking of ships and things of that sort, right? They're not even sure if the Gulf of Tonkin event even happened, but they said it did, which enabled what? It enabled them to step up their role in the Vietnam War. So when Tucker Carlson speaks of a Gulf of Tonkin event, he's talking about a psyop. Don't be fooled by the psyop. Understand that these psyops are going to do what? They're going to cause civil unrest. They're going to cause uproars of the people. Okay? And that's coming. Get yourself prepared. How do you prepare? You got to know. You have to, Isaiah 33:6, wisdom and knowledge. In order to be stable during these times, you got to know some shit. So a dumb dildo ass coming on my page talking about, what are you talking about? Get the fuck off my page. It's too high. Wisdom is too high. Riches is too high for a niggard. All right? Finish this up.
The United States to be in an actual real war with Russia. This, as the larger proxy war that's happening right now in Ukraine, is of course escalating, continuing on with the full support of the United States that is arming the Ukrainians, and also, according to many world leaders like Boris Johnson and the Israeli Prime Minister, going out of their way to sabotage peace talks to make sure that this war is prolonged, as of course just recently Russian drone strikes have hit a Ukrainian port near Romania that, according to some analysts, is risking a global food crisis and potentially creating a situation that could lead to an accident that could very easily involve a NATO country that would start a full all-out war between NATO and Russia, which,
that's a goal of Tonkin.
according to Tucker Carlson, is something that is, quote, officially planned and going to be happening. Now, again, these are all theories out there. As time goes on, we will find out who is right about these very particular theories. But I would think it's fair to assume that what Tucker Carlson is trying to tell us is that this larger hand here that's trying to distract us is the possibility of more mask mandates and more lockdowns, which, according to him, isn't really going to be happening, as, of course, the major punch that is going to be happening is this larger geopolitical conflict, which will create a national emergency, which would allow the government to take more power and authority away from you and be able to do whatever they want to. And of course, it would be an absolutely critical time of crisis and upheaval to deal with.
An crisis and upheaval, uproars of the people.
A world war-like scenario and situation that would be absolutely devastating for all the parties involved here. Is that something that is on the precipice here? Is that something that's possible here? Well, according to Tucker Carlson, it is. Do you think he's correct, or do you think his theories are wrong? Let me know down.
I'll let you know right here. I think he's wrong because he's saying one for the other. He's saying that one isn't going to happen and the other is. He's saying that we're not going to go with Pandemic 2.0. We're going to go straight to World War III. Both of those cause a state of emergency to be able to change the laws and therefore do what the fuck you want to do. That's the ultimate goal, is to if you declare war, now you're under wartime laws. The Constitution is out. Same thing with a national emergency. Okay, you can start doing what the hell you want, forcing people to do things, taking people's belongings and land. You can do all manner of wickedness under the guise of an emergency or a war. So I say that Tucker is wrong because they're going to do both. They are going to do both. All right? Not one or the other. They're going to do both. Anyway, so let's get out of here. Let's get chapter 15 here. We know these things are going to happen. Start right here. 2 Ezra 15 and 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword in their destruction draweth nigh. Okay? Now there's your World War III. And one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hand. That could either be World War III or the coming civil unrest, or I mean, that goes into a whole lot. And then it gets specific. For there shall be sedition among men. That's right here in Babylon. And invading one another, they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. That is this guy, where is it, 1050, saying, we will not comply. Read that again. Slovakia. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, the 2 Ezra 15 and 16, and invading one another, they shall not regard their king. Who's the king? They shall not regard. That's what do not comply means. Don't regard who? Sleepy Joe Biden or anybody under him, Kamala, princesses. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. They're going to do what the fuck they want to do. Okay? What are they going to do? They're going to do what this dude tells them to do. Niggas for Trump. Niggas are not going to comply. They're following Trump now. We have no king but Caesar. All right? And there he is. Nero. Okay? So, uproars of the people. All right? In the world. We're here. What are we looking for? The signs. When they'll see as part of the signs past, which I've told you. What signs? Earthquakes and uproars of the people. We got all of that. All right. So anyway, don't fall for the psyop. Identify a psyop and act accordingly. All right. The very elect. This is who you want to be. You want to be unfoolable, unfallible. So you got to know, in order to not be fooled by a psyop, and we got food and warm blankets down here at the Coliseum. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of that time. Matthew 24:24. Last precept. For there shall arise false anointed and false prophets, and shall show great. Go down and get the false prophets. Oh, you could go get the shot. I would go get it. Ain't no microchips. You'll be all right. And shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. They can't deceive the very elect. Okay? If it Okay, that's all we okay? It's not possible. All right? So, how do you show yourself elect? By studying to show yourself approved, making sure that nobody can fool you. Having the 100% truth. So, stick to GMS, all right? So with that, we hope that the elect will edify you, brothers and sisters, with that shalom.